Hello, this is Anmol, and today I'm going to talk about the proper and effective way of reading. How to read books the right way. So, you see, there are people who can complete 8 to 10 books in a month, sometimes a whole book in a night, and there are some who take whole month to complete just a book or two. You would probably call the first one a great reader, but it isn't always the case. Because reading fast comes at the cost of less understanding, skimming, and mostly forgetting about the content you read. Your understanding power suffers when you try to read more and more books just for the sake of completing one book after another. Similarly, you would see people bragging about how much books they have read or how bigger their collection is. But still they don't know how to deal with their own life. That's because they don't know the practicality of things. They don't know how to use the things they have read. They read a lot, but they don't remember it all. All the information they have read is placed so randomly in the dusty corners of their head that they cannot use it whenever required. And that's because they don't do effective reading. By effective reading, I mean that the larger part of what you read is retained by your brain. It is stored in it. And it can be retrieved or taken out for use whenever we need it. The purpose of reading a book is fulfilled only when we can do this. When we can easily retrieve the information we need. Adolf Hitler was a big fan of reading. He used to give most of his time to reading and observing things going around him. And he himself has wrote in his autobiography, "I know people who read interminably, book after book, from page to page, yet I should not call them well-read people. Of course they know an immense amount, but their brain seems incapable of assorting and classifying the material they have gathered from the books. They don't know what is useful and what is useless in a book. And this confused knowledge draws a person more away from real life." Also, he says that reading is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. This means that the purpose of reading is to provide you with the tools that you need to complete your tasks of life, to fulfill the required needs of your talents to grow. Reading is meant to be used and not just to be enjoyed and forgotten. So the tips that today I'm going to share with you, it will help to turn your not so proper way of reading into an effective reading. These will help you to understand more, remember more, and to use the things you read in your daily life. Number 1. You have to give it considerable amount of time. I cannot stress it enough, as it is the most important factor to read effectively. You cannot skim through books. You cannot just jump from one chapter to another, reading the main points and thinking that you have read it all. You have to give it time. When you read for a long period in one session, you completely immerse yourself into the story or the topic, and it takes you into a state where you start to enjoy the experience of it. Especially if you are a beginner, read a book with no concern for how much time it's going to take. Our brain takes time to digest the information, so give it enough time. And if you have trouble giving your time to reading and you always lack the inspiration, just dedicate 15 minutes a day to a book. And mostly you will find yourself turning the pages for more than the time given, and the rest will follow. Point number 2, find a distraction-free spot. You cannot read books while multitasking. Like people who listen to audiobooks tends to multitask. They think it is still working, but the message of the writers become lost when we distract ourselves. Even if you think you are a good multitasker, you are just wasting your time and straining your senses. So put your phone on DND and find a spot where you have no distraction. Also, make sure you have enough light and get a water bottle with you so you don't have to break your momentum. Point number 3, visualization. Do you remember the movies you like? I think you remember few dialogues too. And you might have only watched them once or twice, and that 2 years ago. Then how you still remember it even after years, when you have forgotten the content you read a week ago? That's because the scenes of movies are printed in our brains in a way that we see flashes of them when we try to think of it. And that helps us in remembering the scenes and the dialogues. Do the same with the books. Imagine yourself as a protagonist or your favorite character. It helps the reader to gain interest while reading a book. Our brain visualizes the scenes without much conscious effort, but we should do it consciously too, to enjoy the book and to remember it for a long time. This practice will also improve your creativity and imagination. Also, this helps us in realizing where we can use a particular information if such event occurred in our life, as we have already seen it happening in our visualization. Number 4, take good notes. To take good notes, you need to find the points that connect the story, that makes you remember a whole topic or chapter of that story, so that whenever you return to your notes, you easily remember it. Look at books as investments of learning in the future rather than just enjoying it right now, which will soon be forgotten. Store all of your notes on a personal blog so that you can search through them whenever required. Just remember to take notes after reading a whole chapter or completing the topic. Do not let notes disrupt your flow of the story. If you feel like, you can write your own view on the topics as they tell you mental state while reading a book. Number 5. Self-talk. It is a great technique to discuss a matter to understand and hence resolve an issue. You have all the answers hidden inside you. You just need to ask properly and then listen attentively. Pause at regular intervals and do self-talk. You may agree or disagree with a particular topic. This will force you to think, and it will polish and enhance your thinking skills. Also think about the situations in your life where you can apply what you are reading. Point number 6. Read things that you can apply in near future. I am not forbidding you to read your favorite fun novel. I just believe that all the values and knowledge that we gain from a book, we should try to implement them in our daily lives. It may be simple things such as importance of friendship and family from Harry Potter, or maybe more eye-opening stuff that deals with our life, with business, or with mindset. Many people read books just because they want to finish more and more books. Don't do that. Read with a purpose and enjoy while doing it. Because when one uses the knowledge regularly in his life, knowledge becomes more exact and precise to be used again. And that's all for today. Hope you like this video. If you do, click on the like button, and if you're new, subscribe to my channel. See you next time.